This was at more 12:06. Okay, we have a guess for an astronaut. We have a guess. We have 2 people guessing astronaut. We have 3 people guessing a social worker, and we have a person guessing artist. So, Miss Mitchell, it seems like you're pretty sneaky too. Nobody really knows what was your answer. Would you like to talk a little bit about which was the correct answer and kind of why?
The correct answer was the social worker, which was C. Was kind of obvious. I wanted to be a social worker, but I saw. But then as I talked to some of my mom's friends or some older people who I knew who did the job, some of the things that they wanted to do, I wasn't really interested in doing, and it seemed like they were kind of stressed out all the time. So I decided to do something different. But in the middle school, I did want to be an astronaut in the 7th grade, but the Challenger spaceship blew up, and that was the end of that for me. And then I also wanted to be an artist. I used to sketch a lot of stuff in class. So I still do some artistic stuff, no astronaut stuff. And my job is close to social work. So.
Yeah, so it just shows that, things change over time and you can have multiple things that you try to pursue at the same time. And sometimes certain jobs, like maybe you can be a social worker and an artist. Like I know some people who are, school counselors that they do art therapy. So you can combine 2 passions at the same time. So, as always, I'm a sucker for Kahoot and I love it. So we're going to do, is my Kahoot even showing there? So I think I have to stop presenting and then I have to start presenting again. Let's see. Present now. A window. Kahoot. All right, friends. Let's Kahoot it out. And I'll and we're gonna play classic mode. Oh, I like their new decoration. And you don't have to use your real name. You can use whatever name you wanted to. All right, 2 more. One more? Now somebody disappeared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Riley, I think you disappeared. Three, 4, 5, 6. All right, let's get started. All about career planning. And it's all true or false. So, true or false, by the age of 19, you should have chosen your career path. Yeah, there is no age limit. People find their passions at 40, at 50, after they've worked multiple different jobs and found out that I really click with this one. So no pressure. Time is not clicking. You do not have to have an answer for the rest of your life in 2 or 3 years. All righty, Jane, you were fast. You need a 4-year college degree to make more than $50,000 a year. Yeah, so you do not. We have things called associate degrees. We have things that apprenticeships that you just, learn on the job, or work experience where you just learn on the job. And for example, with jobs like electricians, plumbers, some hair barbers, hairstylists, you don't need a college degree and you make a very good amount of money. And a lot of people prefer to work with their hands and not sit in a college classroom for 4 years. So those are things that are worth exploring too. So college is not the be all end all to make $50,000 or more a year. All right, Jane. High up there. You can start college at 30 years old. You absolutely can. There is no age limit. And sometimes people like that because going in exactly what you want to do. So I have friends who went to the military beforehand, who work part-time jobs beforehand to save money for college or just to find out what they really want to do. There's no age limit. Oh, Maddie's on fire. You can get paid while getting job training. So that is true. I'm going to give you some examples later. But job training, there are things that you learn on the job that you can't really learn in a classroom. For example, like right now in a classroom, you're with everybody who's your same age. And most people grew up in the same neighborhood. You probably know each other. In a job, you'd probably be working with people who are very different ages, who might not be around might not have gone to Norristown area high school. See, something you would learn is how to do teamwork, or how to be responsible for yourself. Because in school, if you're late, you kind of get a tardy pass with just that. But if you're in work and you're late, you might lose money. After a while, you might lose your job. So you got to be a lot more responsible, and you learn a lot of those skills. Or how to work with your boss.
I'm sorry, but can I get the pin, please?
Who's talking?
Ryan, I just joined.
Oh, Ryan.
Yeah, it might be too late to do it now.
Yeah, so you can just type your answer in the chat and just send it to. You can just send it to me, I think. Can you just send it to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How many questions did I miss?
Not that many. We only have like 2 more to go. So you can just mentally answer, but we only have 2 more. So don't worry too much. We'll go over it.
Okay. I'm sorry I'm late.
That's okay. So question number 5, there are new jobs constantly being created. So absolutely. For example, things with this phone, with a smartphone, smartphones were not a thing, I would say even like 10, maybe 12 years ago. But now I think a lot of people live off of the smartphone. With the smartphone, you need people to create the apps. You need people to, every time they have a new version, you need somebody to do the camera. Or Uber just became a new thing. Before it was all about taxis. Now you have a lot of Ubers, you have Lyfts. That's a lot of new jobs. Or food delivery systems, Grubhub. Before it was just you delivered from the restaurant. Now you have an app for that. So last but not least. Oh, wait, sorry, 2 more. Once I start a job, I can't go back and get a degree. Oh, I wasn't as sneaky as I was. Yes, once you start a job, you can absolutely go get a degree. In college, you can put that on your experience, and colleges can see that this person has worked, and maybe you've worked in a field that you realize you're not interested in and you don't ever want to get a degree in, or you work in a field where you realize you absolutely love it and you want to take yourself to the next level. And Jane, I think
I have a question about that.
We'll go over Q&A after this.
Okay.
So keep your question, or you can type it in the chat. And last but not least, a career test, and I'll go over what a career test is. Well, tell me the perfect job for me. Yeah, so there's no test in the world, I think, creative that could be the perfect job for you because you're a whole person. And usually tests are multiple choice and you can't fit into a box. And also, as I talked about, new jobs are being created all the time and career tests do not get created all the time. So it's a lot of exploring, and sometimes career tests don't cover jobs that that are very specific, or sometimes the way you answer questions, maybe you're feeling that day doesn't match up to what you want to do for a job, or you realize that sometimes the way they describe a job is different from when you actually go into a job and try it out. So thank you for playing my game. Let me put back on my headphones so you can hear me better.
Can I ask my question now?
I might actually answer it throughout my PowerPoint. So I'll go over it and then type your question in, and we'll absolutely get to it at the end.
Okay.
All right. So Kahoot, thank you. So there's a couple of free career assessments. So career assessment is, I know it sounds really fancy and scary, but it's a tool to learn about different career choices. So it's kind of like a survey. If you've done like personality survey, it tells you if you're an introvert, extrovert, or introverted extrovert. It's something like that. So for this case, it would tell you what careers match your skills, what you're good at, what your values are. If you want to work with people, if you like to work with kids, if you want to spend time with family, which community you want to work with, and your interests, because those three things are pretty important in finding a job that would be a good fit for you.
Miss.
I will cover your questions. I promise. Just let me get through my slides. I will get through it. I promise I'll get to it at the end.
You're not presenting the PowerPoint.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Oops. She left. I think you're talking without your mic being on. There we go.
This is so embarrassing.
It's okay.
So which part did I talk about? Did I talk about can somebody just give me a thumbs up? Did I talk about did y'all hear what I talked about with a career assessment yet? Or did I blank out?
You blanked out.
You compared it to like a personality test.
Oh, okay. So I talked about that part. So it matches your values, skills, and interests. Did I talk about that part? Okay, doesn't seem like it based on faces. So it matches your skills. So for example, things you're really good at. Are you really good at math? Are you really good at writing, public speaking, singing, dancing? Could be anything. Or your values. What's important to you? Do you like working with people? That's important. Do you have a specific community you want to work in? Do you like working with kids, the elderly? Do you want to be able to have a job where it's flexible and you can spend time doing an extra job or an extra hobby? And also your interests, what you're interested in doing, because you got to go to a job probably every day and you want to make sure you enjoy it. And usually when people enjoy their jobs, they tend to do a lot better because they're excited about it and they want to go above and beyond. And usually there are multiple choice questions, so don't worry, you're not writing essays. You're just picking one. And we always tell people that don't answer based on what you think is the right answer, because there is no right answer. It's based on how you feel. And no, it cannot tell you what you have to do for the rest of your life. It will not do that. So to get started, there are 2 free ones that are made for high school students. So one is on College Board. I think a bunch of you probably have College Board. Because you signed up for the SAT.
What's College Board?
Yeah, so College Board is, you probably know more about it if you're in 11th grade. But College Board is a website where you sign up for this test called the SAT, that you'll be able to find a lot of college information, and they have a free career test. And then for the ACT, it's very similar to the SAT. So it's a standardized test that a lot of students take in 11th or 12th grade, that they send the scores to the colleges. And they also do have a free, because they want to help you plan out what colleges you want to go to, what might be a good major to study in. or what job to go into. So there's a plan tab that you can click on. And in the end, if we have a little bit of time, I can try and show you because I don't have a student. I have a student account, so I can try and show you if we have time in the end and if people are interested. So a couple of things that a lot of people like to do is getting a part-time job in high school. Other than getting a little bit more money on the side, it can also help you get job skills like I talked about. A lot of students work in dining services or retail, and you learn great customer service skills. You learn how to work with people, from your teammates, your boss, the customers that are going to come to you. A lot of problem solving skills, because sometimes you're just throwing a problem and you're like, okay, what are we going to do now? And you learn a lot of important lessons on the way. So just a couple ones that a lot of students work at. Shannondale Retirement Community, they're always hiring. We have a very nice lady who came to talk last week, and they're looking for people to help with the dining rooms. It's a retirement community, so it's a lot of older people. They have really good food, and I think they're always looking for students, and they take really good care of their
My
employees.
brother is with me, and he says they get a free meal there too if you work there.
Yes, and Chick-fil-A too. You also get a free meal when you work there. So if you're a fan of Chick-fil-A, they also do hire a lot of students. And Starbucks and Walmart. And the nice thing about it, yes, you get paid, but also once you want to decide to go to college, they're also helping you out with some scholarships too, assuming you're a good employee. So those are some things. And then it's all really close to Audubon, so you don't have to spend an hour trying to get there. If you're interested in Shannondale, their application is super easy. I don't know about the rest, but Shannondale, you just type in Shannondale on Google, apply to server position. So as I talked about in my Kahoot, there are some places where you can get job training or basically education for free. So you don't have to take out a big debt in order to be able to showcase that on your resume that you have all this training. So one, you get free job training when you're doing a part-time job, and you get, a lot of them pay you while they're teaching you how to do the job. Kind of a win-win. So one thing a lot of students really like is I've heard of a lot of students choose to do right after high school is enroll in Job Corps. They have one in Philadelphia. So it's a center where they teach you it's like a school. They teach you a set of skills that will prepare you for different jobs. I don't know about COVID time, but they used to be able to provide housing for you for free, and also meal and board. So it's meal and board. So for example, and Job Corps isn't just one job. There's so many different aspects, like they list here: manufacturing, homeland security, hospitality, healthcare, healthcare is a big place where they need a lot of employees. Transportation. So these are jobs that you could go to school, directly get the skills you need for a job, graduate without that, and start a job. So there's a lot to look at in the Job Corps website. We don't know how it's going to change with COVID, with like the housing situation, but they've had a really good reputation around, and we could help you look into it if you're interested. Another one, for the boys, we have a close relationship with the representative from Williamson College of Trade. It's a beautiful campus, not super far away from here, but they train a lot. I'm not exactly sure. I just know it's not very far away. They give you a lot of job training opportunities for jobs like in carpentry.
Is this
and just working? It's an all boys. It's a boarding school. You can leave the campus like to see your family, but they train you in a lot of like hands-on skills. So like carpentry, fixing things, and they prepare you for very specific like skills that are very hands-on. And the last one would be the Armed Forces. We actually have a recruiter coming to Norristown to talk about scholarships and careers. It's going to be next Thursday. So if you're interested, go ahead and drop your email in the chat box, and then we'll add you to the event list so it shows up. So interest, we usually have sergeants coming in, sometimes from the Navy, sometimes from the Army. They love talking to students from Norristown, and the Army allows students like that because it's a great career advancing opportunity. And there's so many different jobs in the Army for different interests that once you get in, you would be able to explore. So put your email in there and you'll be able to attend an info session and then ask questions afterwards from a recruiter. So somebody who works in the Army. And last but not least, I like to leave with what things you can do now, because I know some of this feels really far away. So one, get good grades and graduate high school. A high school diploma is something you need for a lot of different jobs, and something you don't want to, come back and do when you're 20 years old. You're here. You're so close. Think about getting a part-time job. So I talked about, getting paid, getting some job skills training. If you think about going to college, it looks really nice on a resume too. Think about extracurricular activities. You can explore some of your interests. For example, some students do ROTC with the Army to get a little bit of a head start. If you're interested in, working with something about the government, try student council or student government. If you're interested in communications or event planning, maybe join your classes. I know there's a group that plans proms and does fundraisers. Maybe try that out. If you're interested in pursuing something in athletics, join a sports team. And something I like to recommend people do is try talking to people in different jobs, because so you can read all about a job online, but sometimes it's different when you talk to somebody who does this job day in and day out, and they can give you a better perspective on what their experience is like. So for example, or job shadowing. I think the Male Barber Academy, one of the person who runs the academy just came and talked, and he says, hey, we welcome students who just want to come shadow for a day. So you hang out with a manager or a junior barber and see what they do for a day. You can be there for an hour, you can be there for 4 hours just to see what it's like and ask them questions. And for example, if you're interested in being a teacher or being a school counselor, talk to your teachers or talk to myself and Miss Mitchell. What has your experience been like as a school counselor? What do you like most about your job? What do you think is important? Like, what are some skills that are important for coming to a job? What was the education? How much time did you take to get this education to get the job? And you develop really good relationships with people. I would say take a career assessment or two. Don't overwhelm yourself with taking 100, because you'll get overwhelmed with all this information. Start with 1 or 2. Start with the ACT or the College Board Accountants if you already have one. And Smart Futures is also something that Norristown offers for free. And lastly, talk to your teachers, counselors, and family members. Ask them, like, what do you think I'm good at? What are some careers you see me doing? Just to get a little bit of their opinion. Or I want to start career planning, but I'm not sure where to start. Maybe somebody knows somebody who is working in a job that you might potentially be interested in, and they can say, hey, so-and-so maybe was an astronaut. Do you want to talk to that astronaut and see how their job is going for them? People love talking about themselves and their jobs. And that's all I have for career planning. Before we get to Q&A, I just wanted to get like a quick kind of survey response. So last week we had a college prep workshop, and I know people had a lot of great questions in the end, and we did have a time limit, and I feel that some people I don't know if you have lingering questions. So at first I planned for this to be our last workshop. However, if people are interested, I could absolutely do a college prep workshop, like part 2. So in the chat, put yes or no, and it would be next week at still Monday. Miss Mitchell, you said 11, right? Oh yeah, 11 a.m. So if you're interested, and you probably would come.
Let me just check real quick.
Yeah, sorry, our schedule gets a little bit crazy.
Most likely it'll be back at our regular time, 11 o'clock. I just have to check one more thing.
So chances are, but it will be next Monday, 11 to 11:30. But put in yes or no. If I have 4 people, then I'll do it.
Can you repeat that?
If type in the chat yes or no if you would like to attend or for me to do a college prep workshop part 2, because I know people had a lot of questions in the end, and I want to make sure that because it sounds like people had similar questions, so we can go.
Me and
through
my
that.
brother are together.
Okay, so you're RSVPing for 2. All right, so I can definitely do that. However, I do need your help because I want to know what questions I can answer. Like, what would you like to learn more about? Is it the SAT? Is it the... So some topics that I could do are SAT prep. We could do
Yeah, SAT
college
prep.
search. We could do college admissions advice. I'm just
Yeah.
typing it because I'm a very
You
visual
spelled advice
person.
wrong.
Advice. We could also do extracurricular activities.
Like,
We
what do
could
colleges?
do
I have a question about that. What do college offer as extracurricular activities?
where that's something we can definitely talk about. So college student life. So what it's like when you actually go to college. Anybody else? Can you type anything else if you had questions
I have a
lingering that I
question
could?
about SATs.
So
Could you-
perfect. I will talk about SAT. That's perfect.
Yeah,
So I'll
I
talk
have
about
one-
SAT.
I have one quick question. Could you take your SATs in college?
No, I mean, if you're in Montgomery County College, yes, but usually SAT is what you take to get into a college and to get money for
What if
that.
you don't take it as a high schooler and a college wants your SAT scores? Could you take it as like an adult?
It's more for Montgomery Community College students who are looking to transfer into a 4-year college, because usually when colleges say, hey, I need an SAT score, they want you to send it in before they say yes or before they give you a scholarship. So we'll definitely cover that. And Madeline says yes to the college search process. All right, thank you for the list. I will get on top of it and I will make this happen. So I'm just going to take a picture of what people want. All right, so we do have about like 10 minutes for just Q&A. You can type in the chat. This will be about career planning because we'll go over all the college prep stuff next week. So if you have questions about what we talked about with career planning, you can feel free to type it in the chat. I'm gonna close presenting so I can actually see y'all's beautiful faces.
All
right.
Beautiful. But I actually have a question about that. How do we know the requirements for the career?
We can look it up. So for example, if you wanted to be, let's say if you want to be an astronaut, you can Google.
I don't trust space.
No, just this is an example, or also career assessments would also tell you that. So you can either go through Google, or a lot of career assessments would let you check out what are the criteria needed to be XYZ job. For example, if you wanted to be a surgeon, it would tell you you need to go to college for 4 years, you need to go to med school. So it's job by job basis.
So what about like if I wanted to be a police officer?
Yeah, so we can definitely Google that. Sometimes it differs by state. So we can definitely help you do that. You can make an appointment with us. I forgot to attach Miss Mitchell's appointment thing. So I work with Miss Mitchell on Mondays and Fridays. So it would be awesome if you wanted to schedule it on Monday or Friday. And then if none of the times work for you, definitely let us know and we can try to fit you and we can try to
Are you
double.
only with Miss Mitchell Monday and Friday?
Yes, I am with Miss Mitchell only on Monday and Friday, and I'm trying to look for her Calendly link. Miss Mitchell, I think we could stop the recording. I can't. Looking for